everybody. So today's narrative lectionary reading, or this week's narrative lectionary reading, is from Deuteronomy 5:12 through 15. And in this particular case, it's a series, a short series on the Sabbath. And this is Moses talking to the Israelites in his goodbye speeches, preparing them for a new leader, preparing them from Joshua, because he's about to leave them and die, and they're about to move on into the new land. And he takes his time to elaborate on one of the 10 Commandments, that we keep a rest day, that we work for 6 days, and then on the 7th day that we rest. But oddly enough, it's one of the few 10 Commandments that modern Christians pretty much completely ignore. I don't know why we ignore this one. We tend to look at the other ones as guiding principles, and when it comes to the Sabbath, the closest we get is we have a day of worship, but we don't even keep that as a day of worship. We just have a morning for worship. There have been various times in my life where I have kept Sabbath. I'm not doing it now. I've got to be completely honest. I've lost that practice at this point. But what I can say is every time I've done it, it's been a huge blessing to me. And it's weird. It's not just that it's a day of rest, that it's relaxation. It's actually, I found myself being blessed most by the preparation for the Sabbath. Because on Sabbath, you don't work, you don't make your food, you don't do anything. And so the day before, I'm getting my chores done, and I'm going through and I'm sweeping, and as I'm doing those things, I'm thinking about God. Not even intentionally, they become acts of worship because I'm working extra or doing something in addition to what I would normally do to prepare for a day that's just about worshiping God. The rest was amazing too. It's easy to get out of the practice though, because our culture doesn't do that. One of the things that caught me about this particular reading, when I read it this time, I really keyed into the fact that it was like, not just you rest, but your slaves rest, and your animals rest, and the foreigners who are in your city walls, they rest. Like, this was a citywide thing. It was a cultural thing. I think that's because it makes it easier. When everyone is doing it at the same time, when we all rest, then we can rest together, and we can do that in community. I think there's something powerful about that. And as I've grown, I've watched our culture move further from it. And I remember, like, as stores would start to open on Sunday mornings, I was like, ooh, progress. Like, the world is making progress, and we're changing in good ways. And now I stop and I wonder, like, are we? Like, I never thought it was on the right day because it was on Sunday, and I believe that Sabbath is on, it starts Friday night and goes through Saturday. But like, that's all legalism, and the same thing. I don't want any of this to sound of legalism. Like, this is not about how you get saved. I am a firm believer in grace, and grace alone is the salvation mechanism. But it doesn't mean just because keeping a Sabbath won't save or not save us, doesn't mean that we can't benefit by following the blueprint that God has set for our lives. And I think God blesses us when we lean into those things, even when they're hard. I hope that in listening to this, that it makes you think a little bit about the Sabbath. We'll talk about the Sabbath for the next couple weeks. But I hope that this helps you to think a little bit about it, and maybe consider trying a practice of it. I think you'll find it amazing. I hope myself to get back to a practice of it. I hope doing this series will remind me how important it is as I look at the Sabbath for the next few weeks. If you like these videos, I would love it if you would subscribe. It lets me know that there are people out there that are listening and paying attention, and that this feeds them. I don't get paid for this. I don't do advertisement on anything, and so it's truly just for the love of it. I just like to know that people are getting something. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I put one of these out. Thanks so much. I appreciate you.